911, what are you reporting?
Hi, my name is Adriano. I think my boss killed somebody.
Now, why do you believe he may have killed somebody?
Because you have a lady on the floor, and he has a gun in his hand.
The first responders were confronted with almost the unbelievable.
Minutes after the 911 call, police arrive at 1700 South Grandview Drive, known in the working-class suburb of Alhambra, California, as the Castle. After speaking with Adriano de Souza, the homeowner's driver, police approached the well-fortified house.
It was virtually impossible to see anything except the fence. You had to walk up 88 stone steps.
There's foliage and trees and thickets all over. Keep in mind, they didn't know what they were confronting at this point. There was a record of a gunshot being fired, someone potentially dead. As they made it up to the top of the motor court, the back door opened. And much to their surprise, Phil Spector stepped out.
Then there was Phil Spector, bizarre looking as ever, almost incoherent because he had been drinking a lot.
When police command music legend 63-year-old Phil Spector to put his hands in the air, he refuses.
Phil Spector is not complying with anything the police are demanding. Put your hands up, he puts his hands down, puts his hands behind his back.
And then he reached for something in his nightshirt. God knows what it was, especially when you're dealing with Phil Spector.
He begins backing into the foyer. They don't want to lose that sight line, he might arm himself. So they immediately pull out a taser and they fire. It hangs up in this blousy shirt that he's wearing, and it does not work. So they rush him with a ballistic shield, knock him flat on his back. The other officers rush past the first two officers that knocked Phil Spector down, and that's the first time that law enforcement saw her body laying there, blood all over her face.
I was working in a call center for a cable company in Colorado. I was in the middle of a call. A supervisor came up to me and said, "Is your father the Phil Spector?" "Well, your father was just arrested for murder." And I went straight to the break room, and there it was on TV.
Legendary music producer Phil Spector was booked for investigation of murder today.
I always figured at some point, somebody would probably end up getting shot. I knew his temper. I knew his affinity towards guns.
I was in New York and was watching television, and it came on the news, and I was really stupefied. He was a boyhood hero of mine.
Writer Robert Sam Anson wants to know, how did this legend of the music world end up with blood on his hands?